What's up, friends? This is Manni, and welcome to your free new Nodens. But before we do this, take a look at this. How amazing does this look? Seriously, man. That is really an impressive look for this starting screen. Anyways, when you log into the game now until, I think, November the 7th, you get a free Nodens. You just press the button and there it is. And so we're going to see various different setups here played in this video. It's a long video, a large compilation where I played all these setups that you're seeing right now. The last three setups are very interesting. Glaive, extremely powerful. Then the Sonic weapons as the second last. And at the very end, you'll see Fulgur, the overpowered version of the Nodens as well. So let's get into it. It's also interesting, they fully maxed Nodens comes at around 1.1 million HP. And that is a pretty hefty amount of HP for a supporting Titan. However, of course, we need to keep in mind 4 times light weapon slots on the Titan aren't exactly the ideal scenario here. You're not dealing the highest amount of damage, but you see there's a luchador 600 meters far away, and I'm just healing him up in a few seconds from 50% to 80% of his maximum gray HP. And that without even having to be close to him. The Nodens is and has always been the #1 thing that you want in your team when you're attacking something with a Titan. There is, however, exceptions. And for example, a Rook Titan with a double repair amplifier, at some point he will take next to no damage anymore, and he can actually heal himself more than he needs. And at that point, a Nodens wouldn't add anything more to him than the healing he brings himself. By the way, I'm running the Explosive Expert Pilot skill, but I was not able to bypass the Orpheon shield in the air there. Interesting, huh? Because from what I gathered, in some instances, the Explosive Expert Pilot skill will help you have enough splash damage to reach inside the shields, in the Absorber and Aegis shields, but in other situations, somehow I'm not able to pass through them. It's a little awkward. But yeah, so I'm still doing the old Nodens thing, and one thing you'll see when you're observing the stats at the end of this match is that we'll always score first, or at least very high up in the stats, because the Nodens with its healing brings so much healing support to the battlefield that you'll automatically end up very high in the rankings, because, you know, healing support is also equivalent to dealing damage, basically. And it should be. So very nice. We have a Rook there on the right side, an enemy Rook, and one of our Rooks. And our Rook understood that he needs some backup to deal with the other guy, and he comes in. And that's a really smart move. You rarely ever see somebody, you know, understanding map awareness. Remember what I told you, map awareness is that thing. You rarely see people where really they understand what's around them, they understand they're in a terrible spot, they may still live right now, but maybe not in 30 seconds, and they understand that and get out of it before it happens, right? Map awareness is amazing. And that guy did it. Awesome. He came into our side, and now he's not in a 3-on-1, he is with us fighting the other side. Now the other Rook there has a bit of a problem because I'm rocking the Rupture, which is a rocket launcher with massive splash damage that ignores his physical shield. However, you see how long I'm recharging. I'm already recharging for 15 seconds and I barely even charged 30% of my firepower. Now it looks like 50%, but I've been not empty before. Now I'm unloading all my 80% firepower into him, and look at his health. His health is basically completely unaffected by it. I just recharged for like 30 seconds, and I emptied that entire 30 seconds full max level Rupture clip into that Rook. He barely even noticed I fired at him at all. The only thing he notices is that his physical shields break off very fast, but his health did not care one bit. Look at this. It looks like I'm not even shooting him. These Ruptures are fully maxed. We did 8.6 million damage, and that was all the damage I wanted to show you here with this one setup. Let's hop into the next one, because this is going to be a long video. All these setups you've seen in the beginning, you'll see them here in very nice format here, quick in action. So let's see how the freezing rockets will do. And yeah, they will be doing better. They only have 300 meters range, but they recharge very fast. And they offer a tremendous firepower, but one thing you'll see is that I have a tremendous problem just freaking hitting anything. Or some robot that is rolling or walking around very fast, I can't accurately hit him. Because those rockets travel so freaking slow that the dude is able to outrun my rockets, basically. Even if I try to anticipate I need to plan like 3 seconds ahead. If I fire at 300 meters range, I really have to plan like 2.5 seconds ahead with the rockets where he will be when the rockets arrive, or even 3 seconds for that matter. It's almost impossible to plan this far with these slow rockets. Now I'm getting lifted though, thankfully, although of course I immediately lost the weapon. I have the firepower ready to deal with this Newton Titan down there, so we just scrapped a Newton Titan. And if you're wondering why I'm sitting here like a little sissy behind the corner, it's because the enemy team had 3 freaking Newtons, yeah? And as soon as I walk out there, I get lifted, I get sniped, and that's it. Because that's War Robots now. If you don't have a high tower to hide behind, a tower that is higher than the lifting altitude from the Newtons, then you're dead. Especially in an old Titan. It's really stupid what Pixonic has done. That choke ability should not have more than 350 meters range because it's too game-breaking to have more than that. Seriously. But this is not a video where I want to complain again. There was plenty of it in the last one. I just want to enjoy some gameplay here with various different setups, and this is the 3rd Titan that falls victim to our sweet rockets here, and that is pretty cool. 9.4 million damage. Again, I carried the match in what little way I could do it as a Nodens. You don't have the necessary firepower to immediately instantly delete things. You don't have the mobility to jump on somebody and surprise them, but you have the ability to keep your teammates in the game, especially Titans. And you have the ability, if you're positioned nicely, to defend yourself. Like I was there, around that corner. Anything that comes around has a hard time dealing with me, because I have 1,200,000 HP, as you see in the top left. And I bring the firepower to the table that is enough to scare you, right? Especially with a fully loaded cryo rockets there. The clip is ready to roll. Even a Rook Titan don't want to get in there, because, you know, although he's got the hit point pool to take a lot of that, his physical shields don't help him one bit, right? So yeah, it's kind of a scary setup to see a fully maxed and loaded Nodens sitting around the corner just waiting for you. And yeah, but the thing is though, now we're rocking the Glaive. Or is it Lance? No, Glaive, I think, is the smaller one. And this, as you see, is actually performing really nice. Remember the video I did recently where I snacked Orokochis like it was nothing? I was running the Newton Titan with Glaive and Lance, not with the Fulgur and Tonans. They are not very good against Orokochis, and the Orokochis know that. They go and attack you and they just kill you because they know you're not very well able to defend yourself with Fulgur and Tonans against Orokochis. You're just not bringing the DPM to the table, damage per minute, that is necessary to deal with this sheer unlimited amount of hit points that the Orokochi brings. But these weapons do. These weapons, Glaive and Glance, although only 500 meters range, bring so much DPM that you can just constantly, without ever reloading, fire the living hell out of these Orokochis and they just die. They just go down one after another. Even this Nodens will absolutely defeat any Orokochi trying to mess with it. With these weapons, you can't fight it. Forget it. Your Orokochi is gonna freaking die. And that is because the firepower of these things is never ending. No reload and absolutely insane. I'm actually giving you another gameplay situation with this because it was so much fun to see how... and it was, curiously enough, it was the same map. And even the same side. Can you imagine? But yeah, so we're in another situation with the same Titan and the same everything. Starting in 1,066,000 HP. And the next battleship comes in, I'll be making that 1.2 million. And just think about it, we're at 1.2 million HP now with a Nodens. That is pretty crazy, man. Of course, a Rook would run around already with 1.5 or so. But I think a Newton brings a similar amount of HP, right? So, yeah. I just think that, for example, an Ao Ming should have a bit more, right? They're really suffering. And the Sharenga, for example, his timeout should last 500 meters. Should go, because this one only gets 350. Like, what the heck? You can't even defend against an attacking flying hawk because he will outrange you with his laser beam, right? So I guess that should be 500 because it's not as game-breaking. It just times you out and makes you invincible in the process, so you're not vulnerable. This Newton choke is the exact opposite. It's completely game-breaking. It leaves you death stranded, and then for 800 meters, it's just... I can't understand how any game design would have ever made a choice like this to give it this much range and feel confident and feel happy with that choice. I just don't understand. It's clearly a marketing choice that was here done. Anyways, I'm keeping my Titan in the game. I'm healing him up. that is what I need to do. That is my job as a Nodens. My job as a Nodens is to help them. Interesting situation coming up right here for those who are Indra lovers out there, and there's a lot of you guys. You love your Indras, and I can tell why. He already used his second ability, so I thought now there's not going to be another one. And look at the damage he's doing. I have 1,100,000 HP, and he's using a third ability now, because I remember now, whoa, there's Titan Pilots. Titan Pilots means you have another ability charge at 50%. I did not anticipate that third charge he's got. I did not see that coming. Because I forgot for a second that with the Titan Pilots, you know, you get the clever survivor skill there too, right? Anyways, with the battleship and my own healing, I got myself back to 700,000 HP. I lost one weapon, unfortunately, but you saw this freaking Indra was beating the crap out of me right there. He just hit me like 3 or 4 times and was almost completely gone. The only reason I didn't die, I think he had to trigger a reload there. Otherwise, I would have been so dead. So that thing was absolutely insane. Here's a short little compilation, what it looks like when you're playing an Ophion. I sped it up by 300%, just to show how I can just play with Titans. If I wanted to, I can activate heal, I can go behind cover, I can activate another ability. I didn't want, I wanted to show you Titan gameplay, so I scrapped my Ophion and ended the gameplay there. I could have easily killed that Muromets, the next Titan spawning in, the next 2 guys. That Ophion just doesn't die when I play it. It's just insane. The thing is just brutal. Here also, now we're using it with the blinding weapons. I'm not even sure if I've shown you the blinding weapons in the intro. Anyways, you see, I may not be able to really effectively damage the Harpy in the air, but I can still blind him, and that leaves him 5 seconds unable to shoot me. So, yeah, sure, it's a good thing. And then afterwards, I can try and blind him again or something. Though the thing is, I cannot advise any of you to really run these weapons anymore. The blinding weapons are such a joke, man. They deal like 0 damage. And we're running even the scavenger version, so we're running the higher damage variant of it, fully maxed. Every weapon setup you see in this video is completely maxed to the maximum level. And we're fighting a Newton right here. The only reason I don't get snacked here is because I managed to blind him. You see, now he's shooting down there and he can't hit me. So the blinding is still a useful effect, but you're not going to do damage. You're just not doing damage. This thing is just, it's like it tickles the enemy. Even normal robots don't seem to be scared at all when you fire them with 4 of these blinding weapons. They just don't want to be blinded. That's the thing. They just hate to be blinded, but the damage is completely neglectable. That is sad. It's a freaking Titan weapon, man. And these things used to be interesting. They used to be powerful. And in the light of weapons that we see today, like Fulgur Tonans, how are these weapons performing this terribly? Pixonic, plus 30% damage buff. 30%, seriously, you need to do it. It's only 600 meters range. Just look at what Fulgur Tonans does. It insta-kills you robots and Titans at 800 meters. How can we have a weapon that seems to just tickle the enemy a little bit at 600 meters range? And there's a lot of weapons that suffer like this. Obviously, Fulgur Tonan sets new limits now, or new stats, but I don't know why our Arthur is not in the game here, by the way. I need him. I need that Arthur. Right now, I would need him. Maybe he had a disconnect because he's just standing around there. But interestingly enough, he's still defending that freaking beacon because he was pointed the right way with his physical shields and nobody could get through them. So he wasn't even playing, and yeah, he was basically kicking ass on the battlefield. Just sitting there. Awesome. Another thing, maybe you can imagine how long it took me to record this video gameplay here with all these different setups and of course cutting it all so that you only get the Titan play. If you like these kind of compilations, as I'm trying to raise the video quality here on the channel and give you more of these. If you enjoy that and you want to support me in doing so, consider leaving a comment, subscribing if you haven't done it yet, hitting that notification bell so you get notified for the next one too. I also have one planned, and that would be, I heard you, tanks. You guys want to see tanks? Fenrir, Invader, Falcon, maybe even we could include the Fafnir perhaps in the list, but it would be a top ranking, 3 or 5, let's see. Because that's kind of the thing that I really want to do now, because I think you guys also enjoy those videos the most. And yeah, so stay tuned, you get more of that coming up. Also in this nice and fully edited style. One more thing. The last video I've made recently with the the skill edition of the top 3 best robots, where I tried a different style of commentary, where I told you, hey, this is what is going through my mind during battles. So I was basically giving a strategic gameplay analysis of everything I'm doing during gameplay, and the reception was insane. You guys freaking loved it, and that is awesome. I'm so happy because it was fun for me too. Somebody said it doesn't seem like you're having fun. No, I was concentrating on giving you an accurate representation of what was going on in my head at the time when I played this. So I was having a blast doing this. It was a different style. It was something new and something enjoyable for me. Here's a Fenrir, by the way. And yeah, so I will do that again, but not every video is suitable for this kind of thing. I believe I have to find certain gameplay where that offers me the opportunities to explain interesting things that were happening during that gameplay, right? While we're, by the way, now entering the Sonic version of the Nodens, very powerful, very dangerous in short range. Yeah, so I'll be making more of that, but it won't be every video because I have to find certain videos that qualify for this, alright? And also, I'm glad to hear that you guys, speaking of qualified or disqualified, that you guys didn't, you weren't angry with me. I was a little worried there when I made this last video where I made a top 3, but I disqualified the Ohokochi, and I didn't show it. I was a little worried because maybe you guys hated the idea or whatever. You were looking forward to the #1 gameplay, but like, I think I haven't seen a single comment where somebody said that sucked and that was a terrible idea. I think everybody was like took it fun as a fun thing that it was meant to be, and yeah, I'm glad you guys are on the same level with me there. That's awesome. Also, speaking of which, Rokochi is getting a nerf very soon. Not really a nerf, more like a fix actually. It's the falsely short cooldown is gonna be adjusted. Yeah. What a joke! When the weapon category of Fulgur Tonans was not breaking the game, when it was just good but not too good, yeah, it took them less than 24 hours to insta-buff it by 3.5 times, shortening the reload and buffing the damage by 3 times, like what the heck? Literally, that's not a joke, I'm not exaggerating. And then, but the Orokochi has been roaming the last month or so, 1.5 months, and ruining this game with a short cooldown. It's so short you can barely even have a chance to put some damage in between. Well, yeah, guess what? They're gonna finally fix the short cooldown that was falsely short accidentally. Instead of 12 seconds, it was only 6 seconds or something like this. I don't know. And so maybe we're gonna have a look at the Orokochi again after this, because this is probably one of the reasons that make this game, this robot completely. One of many reasons that make it so broken, but one of them that you couldn't even fight it back. It's like, what, 5 seconds you have a chance to deal damage, so he makes one phase shift, and there is never a chance to deal damage? Like, what the hell, right? And yeah, so that will be addressed now, finally. Anyways, we're nearing the end of the Sonic gameplay, and we're beginning the Fulgur version in just a minute, after this guy's phase shift ends. And also, something has changed. A lot of interface things have changed, and at the end of the game, when the end screen comes and you were firing, your weapons will now keep firing. Did you notice that? That's a weird thing that didn't have that before. Or I think it used to be in the past, then it was no longer, and now it's back. It means nothing, but I just noticed that that this happens again. Anyways, just look at the 1.2 million HP on that Nodens. It's pretty sick. We're gonna fight an Orokochi now with Fulgur, and it would have been better if I had the Sonic weapons right now, but I don't, so I'm gonna have to do with those. Those are the better weapons, by the way, of course, as we all know. But the damage output of the short-range brawlers would be better against an Orokochi. In which case I can use the short time. See, now there's no point firing at him. I'm not even trying. I'm not even shooting him. There's no point. He will convert all of that into dot effect, and he's not going to suffer any damage. Instead, I wait for his ability to be down. I fire one shot, and then I get to fire one more time, and then back in his ability already. Right? So, not even I think yeah. So it's just crazy. You barely have time to shoot him when he's not immune. And it's a problem. It's a real problem. I will eventually get him killed, though, and also I'm not the only one shooting him, thankfully. So he's walking away now, but I got him. Boop. I didn't get... Oh, no, kill. It said it on screen. All right. And so... We lost a lot of health though because he was running the new shotguns, but still good to see that the Nodens at least was able to defend himself against the Orokochi there. Yeah, we came out on top, thankfully, with still 850,000 HP on that thing. Another thing, something I haven't mentioned yet is you see I'm running a different mic right now. This is also a different green screen, and I'm in a new place. Maybe I'll show you this someday. It's not quite finished yet, but for now I'm moving. Right now I'm in a separate apartment that's meant to be a recording studio, right? Where I go when I want to record stuff. And yeah, I'm still in the process of setting it up. I'll be dialing it in. The mic quality might not be perfect just yet, but we'll get there, okay? So, oh man, this is a long video. It will take a long time to render and then even longer freaking processing it by YouTube. Did you see how I just halved a Lucha? The Luchador was down there, his reflector ended, and I shot him and he lost half HP. This, again, one salvo, Titan at 600 meters lost half his HP. This is crazy. This is just outrageous that these weapons have this much firepower. How is that okay? And I could do this at 800 meters. It's just... overperforming doesn't even cut it. When you say these weapons are overperforming, it's like putting it so lightly that it barely says anything. These weapons are not just overperforming, they're breaking the game on a level that's not okay. And yeah, I think this is something Pixonic should think about a little more often, if the short-term sales are really that more important than the longevity and the long-lasting health of war robots. To have a happy player base that has trust in their investments because they know when they buy this item now, it's good now and it will still be good later. Maybe it will receive a slight nerf, but not as much as we've seen in with many content now, basically losing 50-60% of what made them interesting in the first place. And that, of course, ties together with content being introduced too powerful and then requiring the nerf later, right? Of course, I've mentioned this a few times already. Those of you who follow the channel on a regular basis will have heard it before. But I think it's one of those things that saying it again maybe is a good thing, right? From time to time, because I always have this wish or this hope that it will eventually maybe change something. Anyways, we had more than 1.1 million HP with half the Noden HP. That means continuously getting more and more HP with a battleship means that we have now a maximum pool. If our gray HP would be fully restored to max, we would be at 2.1 million HP now, or something like this. It's crazy. The Nodens can really beef up some hefty amount of HP, which is very interesting. But at the same time, the firepower right now is a little lacking. With the pilot skills, by the way, the Nodens becomes a really powerful and hard to take down thing, because every time I activate an ability charge, and I have 3 of them, I get healing back from the ability itself that the Nodens gets, but I'm also triggering an extra HP regeneration with every ability used due to the pilot skills. And then when I'm below 30%, I get more resistance, and I have continuous pilot recharging per second based off my maximum health. And so altogether, this Titan now heals so much that it's really tough to get the Nodens killed now. With regular robots, at least. A fully maxed brawling Titan probably gets him out of the way quick. Anyways, that was a long enough video. I'm going to end it really quickly here, so thank you all for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't done it yet, and I'll catch you in the next video. Manni signing off. Bye-bye.